What can you do with AI? It is incredibly much, and it also benefits the middle class. It's not just for large companies, and you don't need an AI expert in the company to apply AI today. Around 2,500 years ago, Heraclitus famously stated that change is the only thing that remains constant. But ladies and gentlemen, today that is no longer true. The change is no longer constant. The change itself is changing. The change is getting faster and faster. And another wise man, Andreas von Bechtolsheim in Germany, who emigrated to the USA and founded large companies there, said a few years ago that artificial intelligence will change the world more in 20 years than all other technologies combined in the last 100 years. More than all other tech combined in the last 100 years. Imagine this. We've talked about artificial intelligence for 50 years. Can you believe it? However, we don't see much of it. Despite being few, these small applications have the power to dramatically and persistently change our world now. But something essential has happened. The technology that underlies computer technology has evolved tremendously. AI now possible, that's why. In my youth, around 40 years ago, the Commodore 64 was the pinnacle of computer technology that fascinated me and shaped my interest in computers. A computer with a central processing unit, CPU, that contained 3,500 transistors on such a small microchip. 3,500 transistors was a large number in the past. In contrast, the processor of my current iPhone contains a staggering 10 billion transistors. 10 billion compared to 3,500, that is 3 million times. Imagine if your car could match the speed of computers. With such velocity, you could traverse the globe 3 times in just 1 second. Or if we express it in terms of brain power, the difference between an iPhone and a Commodore 64 is roughly the same as the difference between a human brain and the brain of a fruit fly. This performance enables new procedures, algorithms, and changes in AI, revolutionizing artificial intelligence with its enormous capabilities, offering true intelligence instead of just data analysis and pattern learning. If you graduated in AI 20 years ago, knowing it perfectly, even 15 years ago, still knowing it perfectly, and then stopped dealing with it, and you are dealing with it again today, then you know nothing. They believed from back then that AI had limitations that disappeared. There were things where people said AI would never be able to do. AI lacks creativity and cannot generate original ideas on its own. This limitation applies universally. AI has advanced greatly. Here are 3 AI methods developed in the past decade that I'll introduce you to, and have made truly revolutionary changes. By revolutionary changes, I don't mean adding ABS to a car to make it safer. Instead, we have introduced an airplane, allowing us to fly to other continents over the ocean, surpassing the limitations of a faster car. So, the 3 methods that I am going to show you, not show, but briefly explain them. Attention, these are technical terms. The 3 techniques are generative AI, deep reinforcement learning, and the transformer model. Don't worry about the technical terms. I'll explain their meaning briefly. You can ask me for more details later in the Speaker's Lounge. What is it called? Speaker's Corner in Other Hall. My company Casablanca also has booth here. There are other AI experts besides me. I'm there occasionally too. Good, the 3 procedures. First, generative AI. This is the process where AI can be creative and produce innovative outputs. You have the option to paint in the style of the old masters or experience the 10th symphony composed by Beethoven using artificial intelligence. This was impossible 20 years ago, but you can also do practical things with it if you come from mechanical engineering. Airbus has developed a partition for the aircraft with the help of generative AI, and the partition looks a bit chaotic when you look at it, but it is just as stable as the previous partitions, and it is 30 kilograms lighter. Why is this important? Lighter airplanes require less energy, and Airbus saves 166 tons of CO2 per aircraft per year. That's a lot, and the fuel saved also saves money. However, AI can also help mitigate climate change in this manner. That was generative artificial intelligence. Afterwards, AI evolves, adapts, and formulates its own unique strategies and approaches. This is achieved through deep reinforcement learning. This is a new procedure where AI can experiment itself and gain insights that have not been explicitly taught by humans. The major breakthrough occurred in 2016, merely 7 years ago, through the AlphaGo program. This is a program that plays Go. It's a challenge because I also play it myself. Moves have an effect 100 moves later, so you have to think much further ahead than in chess. But you can't calculate that. It's so exponential, such a huge amount of things to calculate. You cannot calculate that. Therefore, you have to play very intuitively in addition to thinking. And how do you teach intuition to a computer now? Initially, they fed the computer 70,000 recorded master games. The computer learned from them, but it still didn't reach master level. But then they allowed him to play against himself, and he possesses millions. Played against oneself and developed increasingly sophisticated strategies. Meanwhile, AlphaGo is the Go master, far beyond what could be learned from the matches and far beyond what constitutes the human level in this game. Although it may seem like child's play, deep reinforcement learning has become a crucial foundation for scientific research. And there is the method, the program AlphaFold. This has laid an important foundation for protein molecules. One has thus explored the three-dimensional structure of virtually all known protein molecules. That has not succeeded before. Only 1,000th was found. And this AlphaFold uses exactly the same method, namely deep reinforcement learning, to figure out this strategy of how these proteins fold. A significant breakthrough has been made in drug research. The third one is transformers. Artificial intelligences are now capable of comprehending language. In the year 2016, Stanford University successfully created a new assessment to evaluate the level of language comprehension. And at that time, she was extremely proud that her own method was able to achieve a 51% accurate reproduction of specific things. Humans suffer at 87%. A year later, in 2017, the transformer was invented. Stanford University said it will take 10 more years until we can match humans. In 2016, the transformer was invented. By 2020, it surpassed the human benchmark. Additionally, innovative technologies expedite this process, resulting in the predictions being realized sooner than expected. Transformer is also the foundation of GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer. It contains generative and transformer. Not only understand language, but also generate text. And a speaker after me, 2 speakers later, will tell you more about GPT procedures from Germany. What can you do with AI? Can't share everything in short time. Ask later. Also inquire with other exhibitors for specific offerings. It's very beneficial for the middle class too. It's not just for large companies, and you don't need an AI expert to apply AI today. Definitely address it. To keep yourself busy, how do you ensure that your employees have the opportunity to approach the matter playfully? Additionally, how do you provide them with the appropriate tasks to proceed? The most important thing is, don't start only when you have everything perfectly planned. Start now with it. And when it comes to the playful approach, you have to give them the freedom to do so. And for the tasks, there are also possibilities. If you say there is a creative workshop to come up with a new product, reserve 10 minutes in the workshop where you say, in the 10 minutes, we only talk about what we could do with AI for it or how we could solve this problem with AI. These are the initial approaches, solely to clarify that this technology is advantageous in all areas of application. The simplest tasks are often the hardest to accomplish, but the easiest to verify and complete. Such tasks are particularly suitable because you have to gain trust in the AI, and sometimes the AI still makes mistakes. An example task for this would be if you want to write poems. Writing poems is very difficult, but when you read them out loud, you immediately know whether it is a good poem or not. Challenging to do, easy to verify, the right tasks, Business also has such tasks. But let your people simply play with technology themselves. We buy various gadgets in my companies. I currently have 4 operational companies. The employees are allowed to borrow them, and they are allowed to play with them. We don't need the gadgets for our company yet, but these are always new technologies that people can playfully engage with. First slide, we must consider the working world now. AI has greatly reduced tasks, leaving us with little to do. A century ago, construction pits were leveled using shovels. Later, 50 individuals arrived and worked diligently by shoveling. Today we are using excavators for that, and the excavator can shovel as much as 100 people can shovel. Does the construction industry no longer need workers? On the contrary, they urgently seek people. We build more houses, bigger houses, nicer houses. That's what happens through increased productivity. Some companies reject excavators, stick to shovels, and become unemployed. Consider this when thinking about AI. Thank you.